From Machu Picchu to El Dorado, a Melissa Greentree adventure in ancient Peru. Written by Lino Omoboni. Narrated by Stephen Miller. Chapter 1. The high mountain peaks of the Andes in Peru were half covered with clouds. Some fog covered most of the ruins of Machu Picchu, and there was no wind or breeze to clear it. The sun shining on the side of the ruins without fog gave them a ghostly golden color. Two ghosts dressed like old Inca priests came out of one of the houses. They were both using long staves as walking sticks. On their heads they wore beautiful feathered ornamented hats. As it was expected, their walk didn't disturb the fog. Sometimes I feel like losing all hope of having somebody from the future bringing the magic stone back to us. No, Manco, you must never lose hope. No matter how long it will take, if we carry on praying to the gods, they will eventually listen to us, said the other priest. Manco sat on the low wall and sighed. You are right, Tupac. We must never lose hope. You must not forget the stone has its own will, and no matter for how long it had been lost, one day it will make contact with us. Manco thought about it for a moment, and then he stood up, showing himself as tall as he could. You're right. Come, let's go for a walk. After all, that's all we can do in our situation, being ghosts. The Greentree family lived in a quiet neighborhood in the suburbs of London, in a spacious two-story house with gardens all around, with many fruit trees and different kinds of flowers, especially standard roses in the front garden. Against the brick walls dividing the property from their neighbors, they had geraniums displaying flowers of different colors. Many of the fruit trees on the back of the house were apples, but near the tall greenhouse they had plums. They also had some black and white grapes growing on a wooden pergola surrounded by a small, though spacious lawn right outside the back door, with a solitary almond tree on one side. At the end of the back garden, they had a hen house with a cockerel and a coop of about 20 hens that provided the family with fresh eggs all year round. Sometimes during the year, the family had the pleasure of seeing many noisy little yellow chicks following their mother hen. Not only in the back of the house, but also on either side of it, they had raspberries growing against the walls where the sun shone directly. In the front yard, and mingling with the roses, they had a variety of beautiful flowers. In a small greenhouse, they had plants like bird of paradise and bougainvillea for most of the year. The day had been dry with a few clouds, but the temperature was quite pleasant for the time of year, and tree branches were swaying with a gentle breeze. It had been a cold spring going into a warmer summer. It was mid-June, and the rainy season was practically over, but in England, as we all know, you never know when it might rain. It was late afternoon, and the main door of the house opened. John Greentree entered, shutting the door behind him with his left foot, and placing his briefcase on the carpet in the hallway. John was a well-built man in his late 30s and over 6 foot tall. This meant he towered over the rest of his family. He took his jacket off and hung it on a wooden and shiny coat hanger with brass hooks on the wall close to the front door. He entered the living room, but there was nobody in. He listened for a moment, and there was still no sound. Then he entered the dining room with the same results. Full of curiosity, he went upstairs to the bedrooms, but with the same result. John came downstairs and went to the back of the house and opened the door to the back garden. He closed his eyes and inhaled the garden aromas with great pleasure. Then he opened his eyes, and, much to his surprise, he saw a light blue-colored tent on the lawn, big enough for the whole family. He looked around, scratched his head, slowly approached it, and tried to enter. His daughter, Melissa, and his son, Timothy, startled him by jumping out of it, shouting, "Surprise!" Melissa was 15 years old, and her younger brother, Timothy, was 13. She was quite tall for her age, which was understandable considering her father was a tall man himself. She was wearing a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?